Well, hello, and good morning. Pixel Chatter number 38. Trying out some new stuff today, and hopefully the new display link works. One of the challenges I've been faced with in the last, 6 months is technology when it comes to live streaming and a lot of computer crashing, and apparently it's got something to do with the graphics card not handling the load. So trying to optimize the live streaming software and make sure that everything works the best possible, so we don't crash the computer over and over again. Just overloads the CPU, I believe. Doing photo editing, doing everything at once, and it doesn't like it. So today we're trying a new thing. The other thing was I got my internet fixed during the week, so it's saying it's okay. I'm streaming at 1080p instead of 720p, which may be a mistake. But somebody asked if I could do it because they'd like more detail when I'm making Lightroom adjustments. So hopefully it all works well. Alrighty, who we got? Tim, Susan, Gary, and Anthony so far in the chat box. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Pixel Chatter. And I want to say thanks too, because I put a poll up in the community. I don't know if you've seen the new YouTube communities, but there's a new feature where there's a community section, and I can ask questions and do polls, etc. in there. So I've been asking a couple of polls to get a feel of what it was that people wanted. Definitely, people want more vlogs. I like the vlog content, and it's no surprise, but there's not as many people want to see Pixel Chatter as often. So I've got to make a decision as to whether I keep Pixel Chatter on this channel. Maybe I'll make it a different channel. Maybe I'll do it less often. But I know there's a lot of people that enjoy it, and I enjoy the live interaction as well. You'll see a brand new thing on the screen. Let's just have a look. Where is it? Just there. It is there. See that? You could actually tweet me during the show and maybe get your comment right here. So if you've got a Twitter account, connect with me on Twitter and tweet away. And as the messages come through, I will see them and pop them up on the screen, which I thought was kind of cool. And I was trying to find a way to use Twitter more. So there you go. Now we've got it. Alrighty, who else is jumping in? Colin Bates. G'day, Colin. John Sanders, Sam Allen, Jan Martin from Darwin. G'day. How's Darwin going? Hopefully Darwin's going well. Sam Allen, good morning. I know Sam is sitting somewhere watching, or has just watched the sunrise from the Freycinet National Park somewhere. Looked like a beautiful view this morning, Samuel. So very jealous. Who else we got? Jim. G'day, Jim, the grumpy photographer. I love it. Aussie Paul, good morning. Okay, so let's get stuck straight into things. First of all, I thought what I would do is invite you to join me on social media. Here we go. All right, so you can see I've added my Twitter handle to my Connect With Me page now because I'm going to use Twitter a little bit more. But there you go. You can head to Facebook, follow me there. Instagram, I'm trying to be as active as I can. Now, Instagram's a funny one. I'm still trying to work out if it's a good place to hang out as a photographer or not. Same with Twitter, but you know what? People like different platforms, and it's easy to use all three, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be on all three platforms. So feel free to follow me on those platforms, and I will follow you back. If you send me a message, let me know that you watch the show, and I will make sure I follow you back. I don't follow everybody back because that would become a follow fest. But if you say you watch the show, if you send me a message or tweet me or message me somewhere, tag me in a message, I'll make sure I follow you back if you are a Pixel Chatter viewer. All right, fantastic. So just some news. One of the things that happened for me during the week was I got a brand new printer. I don't know how easy it'll be to see, but I got an Epson P405 short color printer, and I'd never printed at home before, seriously, my photos. So it's a new foray for me. I don't know if anybody else has a printer. If you've got a printer, let me know in the comments. Love to hear from you. But it's a new foray for me. I'd always sent my prints off to a lab, and because it was a bit of a hassle, I didn't do it much. So I've been playing around and setting up my printer. Let me grab some of these test prints. You might see some up on the wall behind me on the worldwide sticker board, which is now up finally, which is good. But just playing around with getting some prints, and there's nothing better than printing your own photos. Now these are only small prints, but as you can see in the beginning, trying to get the settings right. Look at that one. Made a mess of that one. That's what it was supposed to look like, something like that. There we go. And all of these are actually my failed prints. They're all a bit washed out, lacking contrast and whatever. I printed so many. I mean, setting it up, trying to understand how to reproduce what's on the screen in Lightroom and come out of the printer actually was quite difficult. And I'm gonna actually do a video on it because it was quite difficult. Like I was printing and see, and I was taking them out to the boss. I was printing a couple of times, saying which one do you think looks better, and she would tell me which one she thought looked better. And I had to keep tweaking it because when you're staring at the computer screen, it just gets quite difficult. So anyway, I'm really happy with what's printing out now. I don't know if you can see it behind me here. There's a stack of photos around the worldwide sticker board. They're sort of all the ones that I was printing, and I was trying to put them somewhere so I could see them and with natural light on them. But really happy with how they're printing now. And I was using smaller format paper because this thing will take, this printer here, and you can't really see it. Let me see if I can show you. It's a bit hard. But I've got the printer will take 13 by 19, which is A3 plus, so 13 inches by 19 inches. And also the reason I got the P405 is that it does panoramic printing, so it does roll printing. So you can do 13 inches wide by as long as you like. But you know, I don't want to do more than probably probably I'll do like 3:1 maximum, but probably more than anything would be something like a 2.4:1 or something like that. So get the nice pano. I love my panos. And the good thing about that is I always have done my own framing, so I can go wide enough that I can still buy a matte board to matte board a panoramic and fit it inside a frame nicely. If I was going to go any bigger, then I will send it out as a print job, because then you're really talking about big bucks from a printer point of view, and it's hard to justify. But having this here, my goal is to print 1 or 2 images a week. Whether I'll get them framed and matted every week, I don't know. But I'm definitely going to print some every week, and yeah, never know where that'll end up. So there you go. So that's the new printer, if anyone's wondering. And just testing out that paper I was using, by the way, that's it there, the Epson Premium Photo Paper Glossy. So if anybody's got some printing experience and you want to share your wisdom with me, then you can. But I'll certainly be creating a couple of videos of my experiences of setting the printer up and getting the printing happening. So it's more reliable results. All right. Okay. Let's have a look in the chat box. Who else has been jumping in? We've got quite a few people jumping in now. Andy Roy from UK. How are you all? Well, I'm good. Aussie Paul from Outback Northern Territory. G'day, Aussie Paul. How's the Outback treating you? Hopefully well. I saw some photos from Luke Sharkey. He was up at Uluru a couple of weeks ago running some astrophotography workshops, and that was awesome. Looked like a nice place. Dave's Tattoo, good morning. Probably a lot warmer where you are, Dave, up in Townsville. Gianni, g'day. Rick says, can I do a vid on framing also? Yeah, I can. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I can. That's the answer. It's a long, drawn-out process because there's several parts to the process, and you need a bit of equipment to do it. Nothing prohibitive. Like, I remember when I was getting stuff framed, and then I thought, I'm just going to do this myself because I'm a bit of a handyman. And I think it cost me about maybe $600 or $700 to get set up with the gear that you need. And that's not automatic gear. That's a hand saw for doing the miter cuts. But getting the matte board cutter is the main thing. So your matte board cutter, you need frame clamps. I don't cut my own glass. I order the glass from the glass cutter. Once I get the frame made, I then tell them what size I want. Because it's easy, when you're hand cutting, it's easy to get things 1 mil, 2 mil, or 3 mil out. So I wait till it's finished and then I get the glass cut. But yeah, that's a good idea. Boz Beaver in the Netherlands, cool. All right, and nobody on Twitter, or my feed's not updating. I don't know. Anybody tweeting? Feel free to tweet. Just make sure you tweet your message to On3Legs if you do, and try out this new feature. Not sure how this is going to work. Okay. So, some exciting news. You probably already see it in the background. What's behind me? I'll just have a sip of my coffee. I'll finish that off, is the worldwide sticker board. Now I tried to get a remote camera going because you can do it with the iPhone apparently, and I had it working the other day when I was testing it. But do you think I could get it going this morning? No, so I could take you closer to the sticker board because you're going to lose the audio if I go up there. But up there, I've got 3 flags up at the stage. I had a magnet sent in from Ren Whelan over at where is it from? Waroona, there you go, from Waroona in Western Australia, so it's up there. And the magnet actually worked out really well because it's smaller, and I just put some double-sided tape on the back of it. The big black sticker you can see just here, so I'll show you the magnet. That's it there. That big black sticker is from Bathurst, from Gary Davis. Okay, and I don't know if you can see the flags hanging out of the map. There's the flag there. So there's a couple of flags. And you'll see there's a flag all the way out there as well in the USA. That's actually Chance Sealer. I gave him a spot on the map because he didn't send a sticker in, but he went one up on that and he sent an Arizona mug in, which is just there. I'll move the mic out of the way. So I thought he deserves a spot on the worldwide sticker board. If you want to send your stickers in, the way it works is you post it into the address that's down below this video. There's a P.o.Box somewhere down there. Send in a sticker or try and make it small, because if they're all big like Gary's, we're not going to have a worldwide map, or a magnet or anything that I can stick on the board. Doesn't matter. That it could be a woven patch, I don't care, that represents where you're from, and I'll stick it up on the board. It could even be a photo of a place name. I wouldn't mind that. Just print it small. I'll stick it up on the board and send your address in the envelope, and just put a self-addressed envelope in there, and I'll send you back a sticker and some other goodies as well. And that way we'll get this worldwide sticker board up and running, and you'll get a spot on the map. You can get yourself up there. Okay. Now, the other thing I want to remind you as well is we've got a VIP challenge on. If you want to become a very important photographer, a VIP, and I thank you so much, everybody that supports the channel. You can support this channel, by the way, by heading to patreon.com/on3legs. It's down in the description. And, you know, whatever you decide to pledge is appreciated. Each level get some sort of a reward, so have a look through the rewards and decide what it is that excites you the most. But I guess at the end of the day, what I really enjoy is the support, knowing that you're there supporting the channel. And I sent off some beer coolers. They look like this. I sent some of these off during the week. Hopefully you've got them. If you've got them, post up your photos with your beer coolers, enjoying a cold one on me. That'll be pretty cool. All right. There we go. A few people coming in on the tweet. Who have we got there? Who have we got? It looks like we've got some tweets coming in. One from Darwin. There we go. I should be asleep, but I'm watching you. Don't know where that came from. Here we go, Jenmar. Awesome. There we go. Some new messages coming in. Yes, it is working. Look at that, eh? Isn't that cool? So you can tweet your messages in through YouTube. Alrighty. Who we got here? Spanner, g'day. Philip Kingsford, good morning. Great to be able to watch live for a change. Love the show. Thank you for your feedback. And so far, everything, touch wood, everything is going really well. The stream is healthy. So I got the internet fixed during the week as well. We had the NBN people out here during the week because we had so many dropouts and it was getting frustrating. I was actually running the show off of this little wireless dongle, which is just a 4G dongle, for the last few months. And I've got it on and plugged in today on charge, sitting here just in case I have to quickly switch over. But we've got a really healthy stream, and I think the live stream is happening well. And coming to you in 1080p, which is the first time, 1080p. So hopefully it's cool. It's all working well. Okay. All right. So let's get into the VIP challenges because I extended it's funny, I do the challenges for the VIP group, and so anybody who is a supporter of the channel gets access to an online Facebook group which is private, and inside that group we do a weekly VIP challenge. And the challenge, I just picked a topic each week, and the challenge is for you to go out and shoot something that relates to that topic. So, for example, if I go back past some of the past challenges, I'll bring the screen up. Let's do that. They've changed. It's funny. They've changed the layout of Facebook again. So, do you think I could find the albums? No. Why can't I find the albums? I can find a link to the albums. Well, we'll go there. Let's just go in there for now. Okay. I'll flick over the screen. Let's do that. Here we go. Main screen, here we go. All right, things are working. Lovely. So let me just make this screen big enough so you can see it well. There we go. All right. So this is one of our VIP challenges. Just here. This one is Zoom. I have no idea. I can go back to the group. I have no idea how to go to my albums anymore. There used to be a link to albums up here somewhere, or here. You think I could find it? Maybe it's if I go through here. Where's the albums gone? Facebook, what are you doing to me? Maybe if I go see all photos and then go albums. There we go. Crikey. Isn't it weird? They're just making it really hard. Anyway, this is a better idea of what's been going on anyway. So this is in the VIP group. These are all the different challenges that we've had. As you can see, there's 20 albums. That's 1 to 9. But we've had night light, simplicity, strong foreground, people, long exposure, panoramic, silhouette, macro, movement, trees, shallow depth of field, portrait landscape, jetties. Last one was telephoto or zoom, and then this week is sunrise. Hence, that's why Sam was out this morning doing sunrise. He is watching from his tent, I believe, in Tassie somewhere. So it would have been a cool night for him if he's in his tent. But these are the challenges that we run now. You'll see that sometimes there's a lot of photos, sometimes there's not many photos. And it was funny, this one here, telephoto zoom, I think people struggled with using their zoom lens, their zoom lens to get photos. So, normally we do an honourable mention, like a runner-up and a winner, but there's only 2 people that have contributed photos to this album, so I thought I'll show you through them using their zoom lens. And funnily enough, the Kookaburra was featured by 2 photographers. So this is Jill Heath, one of the VIPs, and then we've got Ren Thielen, who is also photographing Kookaburras using his 18 to 400mm lens. And I really like this one. I think that's a brilliant photo. I can go full screen. No, shouldn't have done that. Didn't make any difference. And then we've got Ren also doing a taking off pelican. And then Jill, I don't even know what type of bird that is. So, and that was my example of a picture. I took that. That's called that's pulling the zoom as you take a long exposure at Vivid Sydney a couple of years ago. But I'm going to select this one as the winning image, regardless of the minimum number we've got here, because I really think that this is a great image, and I'm not sure how Ren got this effect, but I love the way he's done it. It looks like it's a composite image, maybe one with a pull zoom and an actual photo, but it looks great. It's a great effect. I think it looks lovely. And then we'll give Jill the runner-up because they were the only 2 people that contributed any photos. So VIPs, get your cameras out. What is it? Because it's too cold, too hot? What's going on? Why aren't you contributing to the challenges? You want to be challenged? Then we should be challenging you. All right. Hey, g'day, Izzy. Good to see you jumping into the chat box there, my friend. Hope it's going well. Alrighty. It is a fine image, isn't it? Yeah, well done to Ren Thielen. Every single week Ren puts images into the challenge, and I think that's an awesome bit of dedication there, Ren. So well done. Much deserved. But yeah, then this week's challenge is sunrise. So I'm expecting that should be a bit easier for everybody to do. Is to do the sunrise. But well done. All right, let's jump straight into some critiquing. Isn't that interesting? Okay, Anthony said he couldn't access the album. Like I said, they've been making all sorts of changes, making it more difficult than it probably needs to be. And yeah, I don't know why. So I'll make sure I share a link to the album. That's what I'll do from now on. I'll share a link to the album in our Patreon post group as well. So if you're a VIP, you will get access to that. And I don't know if you get notified or not, but you've all got access to Patreon, to the private page there as well. What I'll start doing is every week when I launch the challenge on Facebook, I will also post a link into the Patreon page for VIPs. There we go. Gary says it's too cold. That's because you live out in Central West, out there. Did you get snow in Bathurst, Gary? I saw all sorts of snow out there, which looked pretty cool. So, alrighty. So let's have a look at the images for critique this week. And I want to say thank you to the following two photographers, Stephen Algie and Rob Roy, have sent their images in. And these are the two images I was going to critique last week when the computer had crashed. It crashed before I started the live stream, and it crashed after I started the live stream. 3 times, I think, within about 30 minutes. So I made the executive decision just to pull the pin on the episode altogether because it was going to be too hard for me to do anything. It was just too difficult. So now it seems to be running well. I've been using I'm using a new thing called a display link, and it's apparently what it does is it has its own graphics card in it that drives the second monitor. And so we're taking the second monitor's load off of the graphics card of the Mac. And unlike PCs, you can't upgrade your graphics card in a Mac. Well, you probably can, but it's not easy. So we're using this display link, and it seems to be working. And the sign to me is that the fan is not going all the time trying to cool the CPU, because I think that's what was happening. I'm not a technophobe, but I'm not that technical that I know how that all works. All right, let's get stuck into these critiques. And during the critiques, if you've got anything that you want to say about these images, make sure you tweet them through. As you can see, we've got the live Twitter feed at the bottom of the screen, so which I may leave there, or I may have to remove as I go through critiquing. Yeah. So Gary says, rarely snows in Bathurst, but around the hills you can see snow. Yeah, there was a lot of snow out in the Central West. Alrighty, so let's have a look at these two images. So this one here is from Stephen Algie. Beautiful image, just nice and simple. Of water foreground, looks good. And then this one here is by Rob Roy, and this one here is a bridge on the River Willamette, I think. The ever picturesque St. John's Bridge. There we go, St. John's Bridge. Yeah, it's not. Bridges are always nice to photograph, aren't they? I prefer jetties, but as you probably know, but bridges are pretty good too. All right. Let's. Now, by the way, these, if you do want to send your images in for critique, the instructions on how to do it are below in the description. But essentially, email me 3 images to Ben at on3legs. That's the word 3, not the number 3. Or you can just message me through Facebook page, and I could probably help you out there. But yeah, ben@on3legs.com is the best way, and send your images through for critique. Make sure you include your EXIF information. One of the problems I've got with this one here that I've got from Steve is that I don't have the EXIF information, so it's a bit of guesswork, but we'll talk through that in a second. As the one with Rob, I have all the extra information. I'm going to start with this one with Steve Algies. I'm going to grab my Wacom tablet and my pen, and we're going to have a look at it. Let's look at it technically first. So from a technical aspect, these type of images are great, and it's a bit like shooting. It's a bit like shooting in the forest. I always find shooting in the forest. Somebody commented on the blog I did from Tassie where I did the forest shot, how hard it can be to shoot from the forest, in the forest, because of all the things that are going on. It's very, very busy. It's hard to know which way to point your camera for a good composition. When you get somewhere like here where there's not a lot of foreground, it can be quite difficult as well. And then, you need to start thinking about how you can use some of the elements of the shot to help you build the image. And when I say the elements of nature to build the image, and things like water flowing to me is a great way to start building the shot. So when I get somewhere where there's rocky foreground like this, I would typically look for things like this rock, and see how the water goes around it, and it develops these really nice patterns. I would have been tempted to even put that rock in the water. See this one here? As much as that will probably upset a few people. But you see how the water is running in and out here. These are the sort of things that I look for. These are just like gutters that are where the water runs in and out, because when you get the water movement, then you start getting these beautiful patterns of the water running in and out. So, and they make good leading lines. So you can see that Stephen has done that here. Nice leading line going in. And everything converges because of the way that a wide-angle lens works when you get down low next to all of these things. So it looks good. My only critique on that composition point of view is I would have moved to the left slightly and made, to the right slightly, and made this join into, so it came left a bit. So this here came left a bit, because there's nothing over here of great interest that I was going to include, and that would move this black rock here and this rock out of the middle, because in the middle it doesn't quite work. So I'll come into that in a second, but it works, but not as good as I feel if it was over here, and you would have had this leading line coming in. But let's have a look at that in a second. You can see, it's a longer exposure, but it's not ridiculously long, because we can still see the wave crashing here. So up here in the distance. Like I said, I haven't got the EXIF information, so it's a bit of guesswork for me. But I'm going to say, it's probably a few seconds. I mean, there's a lot of, this wave has not lost a lot of detail. So it's probably, maybe 3 seconds, 5 seconds max, maybe 2 seconds even. Depends how quick this water. There's a fair bit of movement here. So I'm going to say maybe 5-10 seconds. I don't know exactly how much. I'm not seeing a lot of movement in the clouds, so it's going to be something like that. So, yeah, from a technical aspect, because I don't know what ISO it was shot at or what lens or anything, I'm going to say it looks fine to me technically. Let's move into composition, etc. And jump into the D module. Here we go. The file could not be found, really. That's interesting. Why is it telling me that? I just want to make sure that... Is this just a preview? Let me go back to the library for a tick. Why is it telling me that? Oh, could not be found. Okay. That's interesting. So what happens when I import photos is it builds one-to-one previews, but it can't find the file. So we're going to have to quickly do some pretty magical technical stuff and bring it in from mail again. Okay, I don't know why that has happened. Find missing folder. Just give me a second whilst I work on this. Where are these photos? Mail attachments. Let's have a look. Won't take me long, gang, and I will find it. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's a bit weird. I don't know why it did that to me. Anyway. Sometimes these things happen. Let's have a look at the chat box whilst I'm just waiting for that to happen. Not too many of you using Twitter. Is that what's going on? As I just re-import these photos, by the way. Here we go. Come on, Mac. There you love live. Why isn't it working? Let me try again. Why didn't that work? Come on. I told you I want that photo. Doesn't like it. Okay. It's not going to be as simple as I'd like. So let me cancel that for a second. And then I'm going to remove these photos and start again. Remove these. Okay. Yeah, remove. Really can be quite frustrating, can't it, technology? I mean, there are times when things work really well in technology. So we're going to import that. Here we go. I don't know why it did that to me. But anyway, the good news is this time it actually is working. So let's put that into the image critique collection. There we go. That can go in there. That's Rob's one port across. Let's do this. How's the chat box going? Everybody happy? How's the weather going where you are? It's been cold here. It's actually supposed to be the coldest weekend here that it has been for a long time. So let me just put this into here. Okay, that's done. And now I need to find Stephen Algie's shot. Where is it? Stephen. Here he is. Beautiful. This is putting a bit of extra load onto the computer as I do this. At least you're still on the air this week. Yeah. Hey, thanks to you, those of you that participated in the poll as well. I don't know. It doesn't tell me who does or doesn't, but obviously, what happens is every time I do a live stream, people unsubscribe from the channel, and that doesn't bother me. But what it tells me is that a lot of people don't like the live streaming. So, oh, that's weird. What's going on there? Okay, that is weird. Something going on. Let me shut this down. Quit that. That's better. What it tells me is people don't like the live stream because they get the live stream come up because when you get the notification of a new video. But I enjoy doing the live stream, and I know a lot of people love the live stream. So it's a tug of war. And you're never going to please everybody, right? It doesn't matter what you do. There's always somebody who thumbs down your videos for whatever reason. That's the other thing too, by the way. If you like the live stream, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Not just now. I think that helps. But I think you can do it after it goes onto into the library of videos on the channel. And get the rankings up there with the live stream. Let me know if you like it, because it is helpful to get that. Now I'm just going to remove the Twitter feed for now so we can get a bigger screen happening. Let me get rid of that. There we go. Because not too many tweets happening at the moment. Oh, gosh, I hate the way sometimes this Mac works. I didn't do that. There we go. Come on. Oh, it's done it again. If only I could show you what's happening. And it's to do with the pop-up menu that pops up from the bottom of the screen. So you got the down arrow to get rid of the toolbar or that little film strip down the bottom. I could probably use a shortcut for that. I don't know what the film strip toggle on off shortcut is. Let me know if you know what it is. All right, let's cut across now to Lightroom. Here we go. I fixed it. So we're back where we were about 3 minutes ago. If you don't like the live stream, don't watch it. That's what I think too. There's a few channels I subscribe to where they have live stream videos and they have vlogs or how-tos or reviews, and it's like a TV channel, right? You couldn't say I'm not going to watch channel X because I don't like most of the shows they put on. If there's one show you really like you're going to watch it, aren't you? So that's the way I work. All right, so here we go. Let's go back to Stephen Algie's image. I'm going to jump into the D module, press D to jump into develop, and this time it's happy. All right. And Susan says, I like the live stream. Seems like you've got the gremlins sorted. Well, touch wood, I hope so. The computer troubleshooter was telling me all along I was overloading the graphics card. And it's hard to explain how it works, but the second monitor has a duplication of all the different shots on it. So it's got all the different shots you see in the live stream run simultaneously in software. So apparently it takes a lot of hardware to do that. So hopefully this new device he's given me, which I'm testing, I haven't paid for yet, but he said don't pay for it unless it works. So if it works by the end of this show, it looks like it's going to, I'll be $200 and something poorer. But anyway. Okay, let's jump into what I was talking about. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to do a crop on this just to show you what I mean by changing, like if you move to the right slightly, how it just changes the image. And one of the things that, let's just jump into the crop actually. I'm going to go to an 8x10 crop. No, don't like that. Let's go to a 5x7 crop. Sometimes it's good to use some of those native crop sizes to try and get something, because this is what it would print, like, but I want to get those rocks out of the middle, something like that, because for me, as soon as you stick things right in the middle, and if I undo the crop, let's undo the crop, go back to where we were. Go back to where we were. Come on, computer. Oh, it's because I've got it locked off at 5x7. Let's go back to custom. Well, let's go back to original. There we go. So here, if I put that grid up there, which is the rule of thirds, now if you think about the rule of thirds, now I know rules can be broken, right? That's what it's all about, especially in anything arty. But you see these intersections? There's just nothing on them at all. You've got your horizon close to this one, so it's not too bad. But for whatever reason, in any time I've tried to do it, unless it's symmetrical, right? Unless your photo is really symmetrical, you really want to try and have your foreground on these lines. So simply by doing something like that, let's see how we go here. Okay, and something like that, you end up with something, and I'm not happy with that. Let me have another look. It's this black rock that's bugging me in the corner. Anyway, something like that. There we go. That's a good example. So when you crop it where it's off center, and if we let's put the grid back up now on that, you'll see that on this intersection here now, you've sort of got that rock, that line, everything's sort of starting to hit. It's still not perfect. That's why I say if I was there shooting this, I would have moved slightly to the right, and the reason is to get this water coming out of the corner down here, and move this rock over. So it was on an intersection. It would have been on something of interest, and I think that's really quite important. It just makes a big difference in your final image. If you want to do something. Oh, I can see new tweets coming in. Awesome. Keep tweeting. All right. Yeah, so it's always good if just making a change to something over here on my other screen because something funny just happened, but that's okay. All fixed. Yeah. Before that affects you. So it's always good to think about your crop. And if you're unsure, take a few photos. It's a digital camera, right? So what I like to do is I like to move around a bit. So take a photo. You don't even have to take the photo. You got live view these days. You just move around a little bit with the camera, take it off the tripod, and just move left and right, and hold your camera, look at the display, and see what's going on with the composition. Now, that overlay of the rule of thirds, most cameras have that on the back display. You just have to learn how to switch it on. In most cases, you just press, when you're in live view, you just press the info button, typically, on any of these cameras, and you'll find that it'll bring up a rule of thirds display. and just have a look at how it affects it when you put something of interest on one of those intersections. And you'll see that, like I said, it's a rule that I think you can apply 90% of the time pretty safely, and you're going to get a better result. So just something to think about. Just something to think about. As you put these images together. So, and remember, there's no right or wrong. I'm a great believer that if you love it, you love it. These are just my opinions, and I'm a big believer that if you enjoyed the photo you took, because there's always an experience behind it, and you love the finished outcome, then it's a great photo. But for me, I want to really make this image pop. So I've moved it. I've changed the crop slightly. I'm going to now, let's just have a look at these highlights. I'm just going to bring the highlights down a little bit more. What's going on there? Just a bit more. And increase the shadows just a tad. I'm going to hold down the shift key, double click the whites, double click the blacks, bring a bit more contrast in. I want a bit more contrast. Now I'll show you what's happening there, because one of the things that, especially when you shoot RAW, that you'll lose is contrast. And a washed out photo is, and what I mean, it's like it's a bit milky or a bit hazy, can be easily fixed in Lightroom. So, and if you have a look at the before and after there, I'll just go full screen for you. So you can see that's before and that's after. Now, all I did was reduce the highlights. I increased the shadows slightly, but you can't really tell that there's any change because I also adjusted the whites and the blacks. And then I adjusted the whites and the blacks, letting Lightroom find the clipping points for me by holding down the shift key and then just double clicking those two words. But you can see just the difference in depth that has given it, and that's just making those slight adjustments. Now I haven't touched anything down here in the presence yet, but I will give it a bit of clarity. I'll hit the dehaze just a little bit, just a tad. I'm really loving the dehaze. I'm going to pump the vibrance slightly, but be careful. I've got a weird color hue, but that's the sunrise colors coming through, so we'll leave it. I'm not going to touch saturation. And once again, let's go back into a preview now that I've just made those other few changes, just so you can see that before this is what I had and this is after. Now this is like some really small changes, like not many at all. I actually think the color is slightly magenta, right? More magenta than it should be on my screen. But I don't know, whether Stevens is he wanted that effect or whatever. But for me, I find that slightly too magenta. So you can use your, I don't know if you've ever done this. You can use a little dropper to try and find a white balance point that's neutral. And what you're looking for is you want the three numbers, the red, the green, and the blue, to be pretty much the same. So you've got to find something that is grey and three numbers are pretty close together, or like if you can find a colour that's quite a neutral colour. And it can be quite a difficult thing to do. It's a bit of a bugger to use. And this is why, if you've got a grey card, take one photo with your grey card in front of your lens. If you don't know what a grey card is, just Google it. It's I've got one in my bag. I don't use it very often, and then I always kick myself for not using it, because when I'm trying to find a neutral, it's hard. Because you can see, I can't find anything that is close. That's probably pretty close. Now you'll see straight away what that did. It's warmed it up just a tad. I'm just gonna. The other thing is just try the different white balances. Now this is a JPEG, so it's not going to work 100% for me. But let's just have a look at the difference of what we've done there. So this is before and after. There we go. I think that's nicer. But what you do is you use the grey card. You take a picture. Put your grey card, like you could put your grey card in the foreground, and it doesn't have to be with your final composition either. Just handhold it, hold your grey card up in front of your camera, arm's length, snap the shot, and that's your first picture of a series. When you're importing your photos, what it does is tells you, okay, it's a new series of photos, but you can then take your white balance off that grey card. Now, if the light changes a lot, you're going to have to redo it, but it's a way for you to use that dropper in Lightroom, which can work quite well. All right, so I've got a couple of other changes I'm going to make now. What I'm thinking is I am going to grab a brush. I don't know what's going on up there. What is that? Let's zoom in. Just notice that. Anyone else notice that? Let's have a look. What is going on there? Look at that. Isn't that weird? I didn't notice that before. Is that something that's... That is weird. What is that? Was that in the original file? Let's just go back to the original file that I imported. That is weird. Has that come in as late? That's there. Look at that. Is it? Yeah, it is too. Okay, that's something interesting, isn't it? Look at that. All right. Go back to the develop module. That is a weird thing. That is a weird thing. I don't know why that's there. So that needs to go. What is that? There's another one up there too. Wow. That is strange. Look at that. I'll just copy there. What is that? Does anybody have any idea what that would be? Is that... I reckon that's smudges of something on his sensor. Maybe Stephen has been cleaning his sensor with one of those little swipers and doesn't realise that's there. Look at that. I don't know what that is. That's something weird. I don't know if that's on the original photo. If anyone's got any idea what they think that is, then... yeah, that's strange. So I'm just going to crop it slightly different just to get rid of that. But that was weird. I don't know what that is. All right. So, yeah, so the depth that it's given, now you can see... so before, we'll just do the before and after. So that's the before. So you can see it's quite washed out, and after it's quite a lot more depth. The other thing, when you use the clarity slider, it's a bit like using a polarizing filter on your lens. You get this clarity through the water as well. So that's kind of cool as well, which I like. Let's now do some local adjustments. So that's my global adjustments done. I've got the brush selected. I'm going to put clarity to 100%, and I'm just going to brush over this rock in the foreground here because I think that's a bit of a hero. I'm going to do the same on this black one here, like that. And I'm going to do the same on the water coming in and out here. Just hit it with my clarity. Just this rock here. Maybe these down in the corner here. I like that as well. All right, that'll do it for clarity brushes. Let's have a look. Let's go full screen and give you that nice blackout view. Here we go. So here's before, here's after. So you can see how we start to really build something by working just on little parts of the image. Let's jump back out of here into the develop module again. And I am going to get rid of this here, this bit of rock, because I don't like the way it looks. Just got to find the best match. I'm going to use that there. The good thing about this is it's a bit hard for anything to tell what's going on out there. If you didn't know I did that, you'd probably never pick it. But I found that a bit distracting. I think, what am I going to do? I'm going to do a top and bottom vignette. So let's do that. Let's grab a gradient filter, drag it down from the top, get rid of the clarity that I've got in there. Let's drop the exposure slightly, not by much, just enough to do that. And then let's copy this. Duplicate. Oh, not delete, you bozo. Went too quick on that. Duplicate it. And let's bring one down here. I need to flip it. Let's flip it around. There we go. This is actually slower than just doing a new one. How's that, hey, for inefficient Lightroom techniques today? And I'm going to put it on a slight angle. Let's bring this up. And just drop that down a bit more. There we go. Okay, that's what I call a letterbox vignette. That's a term I made up. I don't know if it actually exists. But if you think about letterbox when you watch a movie, you know. So let's look at before and after. Oh yeah. All right. Let's get rid of everything so we can all the distractions. There we go. So Spanner, that it's not the sensor. You've seen it before when you use Nik software. Must have missed it. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Look at that. So that's the before. That's the after. Now that is a bit noticeable there because I know I did the removal. Probably wouldn't notice it unless you did the removal. That rock. But what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Let's see. What are the tweets saying? Let's pop the tweets. There we go. Let's see. There's a few tweets. I'll get rid of some of the older ones. There we go. Yeah, so it's an interesting little error then that Nik software is doing, isn't it? That would worry me, using Nik software if that's what it's doing. I don't think I would like that. It's a bit weird. Gary said he just remembered his password. But as you can see, that those small changes, and the thing is, they're small changes. They're not huge changes. But can you see the difference, like from before and after? Which one is more appealing to your eye? Yeah, that rock, definitely. I need to do that properly there. Where that, right there where I removed that rock, just watch. You can. It's obvious. Look at it. It's terrible. Anyway, I would remove things like that in Photoshop, and you would never tell that I've done it. Yeah, but just these gentle tweaks. So just think about it when you're working on your photos. Doesn't matter where I put the mouse; it's interrupting the view. When you're working on your photos, just what I always do is I will process a photo, typically, especially if I'm seriously processing an image, leave it for a day, and then go back and say, what could I improve about it? And I have a process of doing global adjustments. So the global adjustments are when I talk about global, they're all the things like, all the global things are things like overall, exposure. They're things like contrast, color balance, all the things that affect the entire image. And when I talk about local adjustments, I'm talking about looking at what's going on locally, spot removal, bringing the heroes out in the shot, removing distractions, doing whatever I can to bring the image to life. So when you look at it, it evokes some emotion. So you feel like you're standing there, and that's really what I like to do. Okay, let's jump back into Lightroom, and here we go. Oh, there we go, and I'll jump back into the images, and we are going to check out Rob Roy's image. All right, let's jump across. All right, so here we have Rob's image of a bridge called the St. John's Bridge. St. John's Bridge. Now, remember, if you want to send your images in for critique, the instructions are down below the video. Please let me know your EXIF information if you can. So a little bit about the image, how it was taken. Shoot me 3 images, and not too big, but not too small either, because I want to be able to edit them, and so 3,000 pixels on the longest edge is the smallest I think you should send in. If you could do that for me, that would be great. Okay, let me get rid of the Twitter Duvilacker. There we go. All right, so once again, nice image, nice composition. Let's have a look at it. Yeah, pretty good. It's always difficult in a situation close up to a bridge because they're big things, right? So the type of thing that I do when I'm in this situation is I think about looking at some of the finer details. And I don't know if I could quickly find the shot, but I do have a shot from behind the Harbour Bridge that worked really well, where through one of the gaps you could see the Opera House. So, sometimes it's good to think about what can you see through these gaps and separation. So we'll come back to that in a second, because I think I can help with composition, with perspective, right? And as we move around, but we'll come back to that actually, because I'm jumping the gun. Let's go back into the technical details of this image. Okay, let me just jump back here. ISO 64. So this was shot on a D850. So lots of good, gorgeous detail, which is what I'm noticing with my D850. although I haven't done a lot with it, but what I have done with it, pretty impressive, that is for sure. Is it worth upgrading from the D810? I might do a video on that because people are asking me. So yeah, D850, ISO 64, always good to go as low as you can with the ISO. And he shot this with a 24 to 85mm lens, which is like a kit lens by the looks of things, 3.5 to 4.5 aperture. At f9, at 42mm, 1/40th of a second. Could be handheld, is it? No, he used a tripod. So yes, he used a tripod. Love that. So he's given me all the information. He says, hey Ben, this is from the historic St. John's Bridge in Portland, Oregon. Was trying to get a sunset shot originally and was finding it difficult to get a good composition since I was too close to the bridge, but I managed to come up with one that seemed to work. He said this was taken with the D850. He said, yes, I had one on order for a bit. So that he was keeping that quiet. He says, I absolutely love it. He said the lens is the 24 to 85, f9 140, and he said, yes, I used a tripod. So good to know that. For me, I think I can understand that it can be difficult to get these compositions. There's a few things we could improve. Technically, everything's cool, I would say, except for shooting at f9, although it doesn't look like it has been too much of a problem. Once again, I'm looking at a JPEG, but when you're going to shoot something where the foreground is that close to you and the background is that far away, if you've got a tripod, just wind it out a little bit more. Now, I don't know how windy it was, so these trees could have been moving around, so there could have been a reason you did it. But with this camera, you could have definitely gone to f13 and gone to ISO maybe 200. Or even ISO 400 and gone to F something else. Like, it wouldn't matter. You could definitely do F200 and get a faster shutter speed, or the same shutter speed at F13. So let's just talk about composition for a second. I think, and I can't fix it here because it's perspective, I think if you shift it to the right a bit, you could have separated this light from the tree a bit, so it sort of sat in here. The other thing is that there is something cool going on in here that maybe we could have seen. It looks like, I don't know what that is. Okay, maybe not. I thought maybe that was a tree coming out of here, but it looks like the tree's behind that. I see, that's the other side of that. What is that? What's coming out of that? Just that pole. Yeah, okay. So one of the things, it's difficult. It's really, these are difficult shots to take. I probably would have moved to the right a bit more. And the reason, if we have a look, let's just jump into the develop module and put the rule of thirds over the top. Once again, the light's on the intersection. It's hard. It fills the frame, doesn't it? It is a difficult composition. If the light was a hero, you definitely wouldn't have cropped off the bottom of it, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe, and I think you shot this as wide as you could. Let me just get the information up again. 42. No, you could have gone wider. So maybe what you needed to do was go wider. I think you needed to go wider because I feel like we're just too close and it's too busy and it's too hard to identify the hero of the shot. But having said that, the bridge looks good. It's got nice side lighting. But this pole, this light pole, probably needed to be fully included, so just maybe a little bit wider. And I would have been tempted to go a little bit wider, a little bit to the right, try and include this tree in, and get the bridge leading line. And I'll just show you what I mean. We're not going to get the right composition. Maybe we will get something in portrait that'll work, but I'll show you what I mean just by. Yeah, let's try it. Let's go portrait. Let's do that. Just because there's too much going on with everything going on around it, I feel like the composition is letting it down slightly. I would have preferred that the bridge sort of came out of the top right-hand corner like that. This light pole was included in the shot. The colours are really good. Doesn't the D850 sensor capture the colours really nice? Oh, look at that. Greg has just come in after I cropped it vertically. Love it. Funny stuff. But yeah, I think it's just composition. Everything else looks good. Really, you've done a good job. Even the post-processing looks relatively good, considering the time of day it is and the light that you have. So But yeah, they're the things that I would have done. I would have gone a bit wider. And I think I would have gone with this portrait orientation. Maybe took something like that, Rob. I'm not sure. So hopefully that has helped you. All right. So there you go. That's a little bit of, I guess, composition tips there. And it is, I mean, it's hard when you get so close to such an amazing object. It's going to be hard. So there you go. All right. So there you go. I mean, that's gives you some sort of an idea anyway. Hopefully you enjoyed that critique session. Now this is interesting. You know what's funny is my live stream is telling me we have been live for 41 minutes, but my phone tells me we've been live for an hour. So that's confusing. I'm going to go with what my phone tells me. Maybe the live stream is lagging. I don't know. Bit weird. All right. So Jan has asked, can I talk about astrophotography in the future? I can. I haven't done a huge amount of astro, funnily enough. I've done a little bit and more than happy to talk about it because I enjoy it. And I was right now is a good time. I'm running out of time to get out and about and shoot the Milky Way or what they call the galactic core. And you know, let me see if I can find some astro shots. Actually, well, my favorite astro shot is the one of the aurora, and the reason why it's my favorite astro shot is because I got an aurora and the Milky Way together. Where is it? And if you haven't seen this shot, I'll show you. Was it luck? Was it, who knows? Let's have a look. I think it was luck. I didn't even know what I was doing. Let me find it. When it came to astrophotography. Not astro, rather, aurora photography. So this one here is the Hazard Mountains in Tasmania. And I was on a photography tour for my 40th. I just wanted to go to Tassie, never been there. So I just bought a ticket on a photography trip with Michael Sneddick, who I just ran the last couple of workshops with. That's where I met him. And the guy that he was running the workshop with was an aurora fanatic, and he had an app on his phone, and he had an alert go off saying there's going to be an aurora. Did we want to try and photograph it? And this is the resulting shot. Now, believe it or not, half an hour before this, it was overcast and raining. That's Tassie for you. But the whole thing that was super fluky about this is an aurora and the Milky Way in one shot. Super rare to see. And that's why, I mean, it's been published. This was published in the weather calendar a couple of years ago for the Australian weather calendar. But you know, you've just got to get your settings right. Now, if you have a look, if you're getting close on this one, you'll see that my shutter speed was slightly probably too long. It's hard to see on this size, but when you print it big, you can see star trails. And it was 30 seconds, I think. Yeah, 30 seconds. So this was shot at ISO 1600, f2.8 at 30 seconds. In hindsight, I wish I'd gone to probably ISO 2400 and down to 20 seconds. And I've got a variance of shots, but this was, 30 seconds worked best. And here's the challenge, right? 30 seconds worked best for the aurora, and you want probably a shorter speed for the stars. So it's challenging. But there you go. The guy if you want to follow somebody who is amazing at astrophotography, you need to follow Luke Sharkey. And Luke Sharkey is mainly on Instagram. He's got 1 million followers. Well, not 1 million, 100 and something thousand, I think. But Luke does astrophotography workshops, and he lives down in Tassie. He's just spent the last couple of weeks in Uluru doing some workshops. And amazing astrophotography. Rick was in that same. I had a nomination in that calendar. Did you? They actually contacted me. I didn't enter it. I'm not a big fan of of competitions, so I actually didn't enter it. They actually contacted me and said, "Can you please enter our competition? Because we want to put we want your photo to be in the running." So I went, all right, I just sent it in, and it won. So it's sort of rigged, I guess. I shouldn't be saying that, but I didn't enter the competition. I didn't want to enter the competition. They wanted my photo, which is interesting. All right. So it looks like your tweet's coming through, which is cool. So I'm happy to do something on astrophotography. It's going to be really hard. I know Andrew Marr did a vlog on it the other week as well, so go and check out that vlog. And it was challenging for him because shooting a vlog in the dark, it's going to be very hard. But I think he did a great job. So there you go. All right. Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for tuning in. And it looks like the technical issues are all ironed out. I don't know if anybody had any buffering or if you had clarity the way through. If 1080p is working well for you, then that's because I hadn't done that before. With the internet fixed, we've got the new Twitter stream happening. I'm pretty happy with how everything has been going on. So, if you've got a Twitter account, tweet away, join the fun. Now, in the comments right now, if you want, you can put your social media handles in there as well. Let people know where where your social media is, so where you hang out, so people can join in. A reminder, we now have the worldwide sticker board. Let me just move my microphone over here so you can still hear me. We have the worldwide sticker board. We have Bathurst on the map. This is Gary Davis. Gary not only sent that in, but look at this. And you don't have to send me gifts, by the way, but I do appreciate them. I think it's awesome that we have this amazing community. So Gary sent me in this and said, "Enjoy your shot." So I think what I'll do is next week I'll have a shot of something alcoholic just to celebrate. So if you have a look at the map, everybody on the map gets a flag of their location, and the idea is that eventually we put flags. And after I stacked Gary's sticker on there, I thought, well, I wonder if anybody from East Antarctica is watching, because if they are, Bathurst has just gone over a little bit of the coast of East Antarctica. I don't think anybody does watch it from there. But yeah, we've got 2 flags in Australia so far. So that's Ren from WA, Gary from Bathurst, and we've also got Chance up there in Arizona, and that's he didn't send a sticker, but he did, as I mentioned before, send me that marvellous mug in, which is just there. So Chance made it onto the worldwide sticker board as well. So if you want to send your stickers in, let's get the board going. Let's get as many things up there as well. These are also my photos that I've printed. If you send a photo invite, send in your favourite photo, print it up, send it in, and I'll, don't make it any bigger than 5x7, and it'll get pinned up on the board for a while. Why not? We can do that as well. Send me in your images printed. Now that I've got my printer, my trusty Epson printer, I'm part of the printer world. Send one in, and I'll stick it up on the board. All right, everything went well this morning. Thanks so much, everybody that joined in, and thank you for your patience over the last 6 months whilst I've been working this out. Today is the last day I'm going to talk about it. From now on, I'm just going to run the show as if all the problems never happened, and if any new problems come up, we'll just tackle them as they come. But I'm really grateful that everything has been going really well today, and it's the best it's run in 6 months. And so, if you can imagine having to do everything, it's the same as vlogging, right? I'm talking to you guys, I'm doing editing, I'm watching what's going on over here. I'll show you just so you get a feel for it. This second monitor over here actually has the live stream on here. So this is the upcoming shot. This is the current shot. Down here, it's like layers, like Photoshop layers. So you pick your layers. This is the new Twitter feed coming through. This is the chat. So this is all you guys chatting to me. And then up here, this is my YouTube screen telling me what's going on in YouTube. So it's a pretty complex little operation going on. And we've got to keep it all running. So, I appreciate you guys jumping in. Make sure, if you haven't already, that you follow me on social media. I'll pop those up for you now and connect there as well, because, of course, whilst the live show is a lot of fun, then, it's always fun to catch up on social media as well. So please follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I'm going to do my best to jump on all 3 as regular as I can and share things out there, and that way we can stay connected. Thank you very much for your kind words. Thanks for joining me for Pixel Chatter. You've been absolutely amazing as usual. You guys are always amazing. So thank you. You know what I say? What's it time for? Time for you to get out there and take some photos. See ya.